Okay, this is the video for Revenge of the Sith, the third of the Star Wars prequels. Now, the thing is, the first two prequels I would rate under the respective Star Wars films, the originals. Like, I'd rate Star Wars well over Phantom Menace. I'd definitely rate Attack of the Clones as a lesser film than Empire Strikes Back. This is where it changes, because in this final chapter of each trilogy, I'd rate Revenge of the Sith well over Return of the Jedi, because I have a big problem with Return of the Jedi. But Revenge of the Sith is a genuinely good film for most of our time, despite a few flaws. I think it gets a kicking that's undeserved because people are disappointed by the prequels. They're not what they wanted from the Star Wars film. I went over that in the last video, so I won't harp on to that one again. But yeah, there are problems, but the whole idea is this is the rise of Darth Vader and the fall of the Republic, and basically it's how the Empire came about that would dominate the rest of the Star Wars movies afterwards. And that's where it really works. Where it doesn't work is the romance again, because romance never works in these films. Because Natalie Portman's going from going to going. That's her acting performance in this film. It's nodding a lot. There's a section at the end where it's a big conclusion where Anakin's telling her why he did these things and she's nodding a lot and it's very distracting. It's like, at least give someone to the other actor. Yeah, this is just annoying, just stop nodding. And she does that whole movie and it's like, why would he go through all that stuff with someone who just can't keep their head straight? So it still doesn't work for her. So again, a good actress in other films, just bad in these films. I have no idea what happened. Something bad happened in these films because she's really phoned in this one. And it causes problems because a lot of the motivations for Anakin becoming Darth Vader is due to him trying to protect her. And you kind of wonder, why did he bother? Because she's not that interesting. But that's a flaw. That's the main flaw in the film, is like, why do you do all this stuff? Because he's doing it for someone who doesn't deserve it. But the rest of the film is good because you basically get the fall of the Empire. So the first half of the movie starts off with an action scene as a try to rescue the Chancellor, which is actually a kind of test. He's just manipulating people still because he's actually the Emperor as well, and he's the big Sith Lord they're trying to find. And he's testing Anakin, he's testing enemies and his allies. Everybody's either ally or an enemy, and they're probably both to him. He's just moving people around to suit himself, and he basically uses Anakin to get rid of Count Dooku, because who's his apprentice at the moment, but he wants Anakin as his apprentice, so he uses the situation to get Anakin to kill Dooku and make Anakin a big hero as a Republic, as a guy that killed the evil Sith Lord. So that's the first section. It's a really fun first section because you go into the story with Anakin and Obi-Wan as you watch them as equals in an adventure to rescue someone, and you see the Jedi at the peak of their powers. You see them going through a spaceship fight to start with, then land on a spaceship, go through a spaceship, have a lightsaber battle, rescue someone, have to get off the spaceship, get captured, then turn the captors, and then eventually crash a ship into the planet. So a lot happens, but it's really well paced, and you tell everyone's having fun with this sequence because there's lots of jokes, there's lots of little character moments, everybody's just seems to be enjoying themselves, and it comes across in the film. It really, you tell George Lucas as a director was having a lot of fun with a lot of gags, a lot of fun with all these situations he was creating, and essentially it's what you wanted from the first movie. When you see the Jedi, you just see them having a lot of fun and doing stuff and just playing off each other, so it really works very well. Okay, after this, we basically go back to the politics that was suggested by the last movie. You see the Jedi Council dealing with the Republic. They're dealing with the war. They're all spread out over the universe. They're basically stretched to the limits. The war's just not going very well for anybody. It's just going on and everyone's exhausted. And the Chancellor won't negotiate peace with anybody. So people are starting to wonder who's the villain, who's not. And there's just paranoia. I mean, the good thing about this film is it shows the paranoia for this. During this section, it shows what's actually going on, which is everyone distrusts everyone else. No one's sure who's doing what and why. Even from the Jedi Council, Anakin's been made a council member even though he's not a master, and he's paranoid because he's been asked to basically spy the Chancellor. And everyone it's just this paranoia that came in the second movie and is now really hit its peak now, because nobody knows how to deal with anyone else. No one trusts anyone else. The Jedi don't trust Anakin. He doesn't trust them. Obi-Wan's in the middle of everybody because he's trying to keep peace between lots of different factions that are angry at each other. So it's really well put together. And during this time, you start to see Sidious seduce Anakin to the dark side by talking to him about his fears, about the Republic, about how the Jedi are doing, about his fears about his wife. And he starts talking about the dark side of the Force and the myths of the dark side, and he connects to what Anakin's scared of, which is losing his wife because Padme's now pregnant, and he's very worried about that. So basically Sidious plays on his emotions beautifully, and there's a great sequence in the middle of it where Anakin talks to Sidious during a performance of this floating thing in space, and they're just talking about the Sith and Jedi, and it's really well played. You see the strings getting pulled pretty well, and you see how Anakin is really starting to lose it with the Jedi. Following that, they find out where the leader of the Separatists is, which is a machine called General Grievous, who's part machine, part creature, but everything's been replaced by mechanics by now, so he's more or less a machine. And basically Obi-Wan's sent to kill him, and so there's a nice big action scene as Obi-Wan hunts him down on this planet, and then there's an action beat as Obi-Wan faces off against him and ends up destroying him. At this point, the Jedi think the war's coming to an end, and they should start to insist that the Chancellor give up some powers. At this point, Palpatine bursts reveals he's a Sith Lord to Anakin. Anakin tells the Jedi, and everything comes together in one big sequence where the Jedi go and try and kill Palpatine. Anakin intervenes, kills some of the Jedi, and becomes a Sith. Because A, he killed a Jedi, so he's going to hunt it down, and B, Sidious is making promises to him that may actually help save his wife, and it plays into what he wants to hear. So at this point, you see Anakin go from someone who is struggling to someone who's cold-blooded and going down this path. I mean, based on once Anakin's chosen the path, his demeanour changes. He'll do anything for the area he's chosen, the direction he's chosen. He would just follow that, and it's quite chilling. You see him slowly switch to the Sith point of view. I mean, the change from Jedi to Sith is handled well, but it could have had a bit more explanation. There's elements where you think you could have explained this a lot more of his motivations, slightly more. But on the other side, it's quite good that it's internalized, so you don't know every little reason why he switched. I mean, you can see theories why he switched, but it doesn't tell you every little reason why he's moved. But there's enough suggestion within the story to make you feel you know why he's done it. And there's a terrific sequence where he's pondering what he's going to do after he's turned Palpatine into the Jedi, and he's kept him and Padme just thinking. It's probably the best scene they have, even though they're not even in the same room. It's probably the best moment between them in all three movies. And no one's speaking, they're just thinking. And it really works beautifully. And then basically Anakin becomes a Sith, and he goes in and he basically kills everyone in the temple for Palpatine. And then Palpatine basically sets up a program for the clones to turn on the Jedi. And that's a terrific sequence, very dark. You just see the Jedi getting killed by their own people, and they don't see it coming at all. Basically, most of them are wiped out instantly because they never saw this element. So there's a great sequence of that, and you see Anakin killing children. Well, you suggested you don't see him killing them, but you see the lead up, and it's pretty chilling. And And slowly, just at this point, everything just rolls and rolls towards basically doom, as Obi-Wan is forced to face off against Anakin and Yoda's forced to face off against Palpatine. Yoda loses against Palpatine, has to go into hiding. Anakin is beaten by Obi-Wan and burnt alive, and Obi-Wan thinks he's dead, but obviously Palpatine finds him, turns him into, puts him in a bodysuit and becomes Darth Vader, the one we know and love to hate. And so that's the plot. But basically the whole thing is, it's wonderfully done the way it's, basically after he turns, it becomes operatic. He basically turns against his friends, he blames his friends for everything. He basically he switches his point of view. Even though he knows he's lying to himself in lots of places, he still becomes very power hungry very fast as he lets loose into the kind of the selfishness and the Sith tendencies, where he suddenly is interested in taking over from Palpatine entirely, just becoming the master of everybody. And you also see Palpatine turning the Jedi, attacking them into a reason to turn the Jedi and to use the war and how long they fought in the war to create a new fascist government, which is the Galactic Empire. And that's really well done, because you see everybody goes for it. I mean, it's not like people are objecting, everyone's saying, yeah, we need this, because he's filled them so much. So there's lots of chill little things, like the way people can go from a democracy into a fascist state, which happens all the time. I mean, but the most famous example is Nazi Germany, but it happens continuously. Like, basically, democracies go more right wing or left wing and become extreme, and they lose all perspective. I mean, you've got Stalinist Russia as well, which is it's murdered millions for some ideology that is just basically corrupt. So it echoes those things, and it just shows how people just give in to this kind of belief system. So all this stuff is really well done, and they use basically a fantasy world to show a very simplified form how it happens. I mean, it's much more complicated what happens in real life, but they show the seeds and they give people ideas, especially because this is a movie for kids. I hope they'll get people thinking of how these things work, because it's probably the first introduction for most kids to see this kind of stuff, to see like how things can change and how things are subtly manipulated. I think that's one thing that's underrated about these prequels for children, is the fact that they actually are showing how a democracy become a fascist state, and it's giving you some darker themes that most kids' films wouldn't really show you. So I think that's a big positive for these films, because they use all the action scenes to basically hide the theme until let people think about what the theme is later, really, as it dawns on what's actually happening. So that's really well done. Anakin's turn's really well done. You can see just subtle reactions. There's a kind of hollowness to him after he turns that really, which I don't really see mentioned much in reviews, but it really is there. He goes from hollow to rageful and back. He's not in control, and he's much more like Vader is going to be, because if you actually see Vader in the following movies, he's either very calm or he's full of rage, and he's force choking people. And you can see this in Anakin very much in the second half of the movie. This sort of turn, he's turned his basically his character to something else, and of course he pays for it with being burnt alive. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of things. I mean, this has been the best received of the three prequels. I mean, I think it's the one people generally do like. Some people hate it still because it's one of the prequels. We can't do much with those people, but there's lots of good elements in it, and the romance is played down a lot, so that helps immeasurably. The action scenes when they come are all exciting. I mean, the Obi-Wan fight against Grievous, the opening sequence. I mean, the only downside with the action scenes is I think the last battle is great, but it's so stylised that I think you lose some of the passion a little bit. But I think that's just one of those things. Like, I still think it's a terrific sequence. I mean, it's not in par with the end of The Empire Strikes Back with Luke vs Vader, but it's still very well done. and it is a lot more drama than you had at the end of Phantom Menace, which had better pyrotechnics but didn't really have the drama that this one has. So it's a terrific film. I mean, I think it's far superior to Return of the Jedi. It really has lots going on. I think the performances in the whole are pretty decent. I mean, Hayden Christensen is a lot better people give credit for, because he's playing a character again that's been. He's got specific marks he has to play a very unlikable character, but shows vulnerability. He doesn't always have the best dialogue to do that, but he does a good job. I mean, I think he gets a lot of stick that he shouldn't get. I mean, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan is always good in that part. He knows what he's doing with that. And some of the supporting parts, I mean, Ian McDiarmid is the Palpatine's always good as well, because you see him slow develop to the Emperor, and he really knows what he's doing. I mean, some of the Jedi are still a bit stiff, but Yoda's good. There's lots of very nice sequences. So, this is a really strong film, and it's really undeserving of a lot of the abuse it gets. I mean, I just think it's. If you love Star Wars, this is a good one. This is one you really should watch, because it really delivers.